प्रेमाढ्य श्री रूपानुगभक्तिद श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्री मूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्धाप सिद्धांतत्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बर साम्बोधि पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौराविर्भाव भूमिस्त्वं निर्दिष्ट सज्जन प्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरतुष्ये नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत श्री राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। जयतां सुरतो पंगुर्मम मंदेर्मतिर्गति मत्सर्वसपदं भुजौ श्री राधा मदन मोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यं कल्पाद्रुमाध श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमद्राधा शीलगोविन्ददेवो ज्येष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानुस्मरामि। श्रीमान् राससारं देवं श्रीवटतटस्थितः कर्षन्वेणुं स्वनिर्गोपिर्गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनः तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So today is a very auspicious day, Vyasa Purnima. Widely it is famous as Guru Purnima. Yes, every Guru is a representative of Vyasa, Veda Vyasa, who is literary incarnation of Krishna himself. So let us chant the Pranam mantra of Veda Vyasa. I will re-put it in your group. Try to read all the verses. व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तै पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकतातं तपोनिधिं। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Actually, we should begin our classes with actually these three pranam mantra of Vyasaji. It's only because of Veda Vyasa today we have Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, everything. Okay. A little recap of 8th chapter. First and second, we saw the questions, 7 questions taken by Arjuna. What is Brahma? What is Adhyatmam? What is Karma? What is Adhibhutam? What is Adhidaivam? What is Adhiyagyaha? And how should a person leave his body, especially devotee, how he should leave his body at the time of quitting, at the time of death. Then what is the answer given? This Brahma is Aksharam. This Brahma is the Jiva. And how is the Swabhava? Adhyatma, eternal. But because of the influence of the material energy, carries various life impressions. And because of that, there are various activities, variety of activities. Because of this life impressions, the karma is or fruitive activities are there. Because of this, he has a chain of fruitive activities. Then what is Adhibhutam? Adhibhutam here refers to what is the material manifestation, or how is this body? This body itself is the Adhibhutam, material manifestation. Then Adhidaivam, it is Krishna who is the head of all the Devatas. And Devatas are responsible for taking care of this material manifestation. And then Adhiyagyaha, Paramatma himself. And then how to leave the body? Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Whoever remembers me at the time of death will never come back or will attain my nature. Whatever state of thoughts are there at the, or consciousness is there at the time of leaving the body, that type of body we will get in the next life. So in this little 6th verse we saw, when Krishna says in the 7th verse, always remember me. Even when you are working, also remember. When you are in the war, remember me. So dedicate your activities to me. Always remember Krishna. Never forget Krishna. Smartavya satatam Vishnu, vismartavya na jatuchit. Have you memorized this shloka? Smartavya satatam Vishnu. Have I given this shloka to you? No? Yes or no? You can nod your head. Yes, then yes. One of you unmute yourself. Krishna Priya, have I given this shloka? Satatam smartavya satatam Vishnu, vismartavya na jatuchit.
That other
Okay.
one you gave.
Sadhu hridayam mayam. That I give. Today I'll give this shloka. Smartavya satatam Vishnu. Always remember Krishna. Smartavya. Satatam. Satatam means always. Smartavya satatam Vishnu. Vismartavya. Never forget him. Vismartavya na jatuchit. This is the summum bonum of the whole Vedic literature. What is the two principle in which whole Vedic principles boils down to? That is these two. That is Smartavya Satatam Vishnu, Vismartavya na Jatuchit. Sarva Vidhi Nishedasu Etayor Eva Kinkaraha. Whatever Vidhi, whatever rules, Nisheda, whatever regulations a person is following, it should be subservient to these two principles. Some rules we adopt, somebody may be adopting some other rules. Whatever it may be, it should be subservient to these two principles.
I'm sorry, that other day you gave this one, Krishna Tvadiya Padapam Java.
Yeah.
Related to this verse, you explained about this.
Yeah, we don't know at the time of death what will happen. Prana Prayana Samaya Kapavata Pitte Kantavarodhanavadi Smaranam Kutaste. What will happen? We don't know. So at least now my body is healthy. Let me chant. Then Krishna says, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. This is going to happen by constantly remembering Krishna. By constantly, Abhyasa. Why this word Abhyasa? By practice. That is only by sadhana one can reach the stage of bhava and prema. Sadhana is very, very important. How eager we are and how vigilant we are in our sadhana. We have to be vigilant. It is not that we just do it casually. We have to see that how we are really progressing in our sadhana. So 9th verse onwards to 13th verse. Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Can say Nishkama Yoga Mishra Bhaktas have been spoken. And how they will remember Krishna? By chanting Om, and while chanting Om, they should remember Krishna. Then only they can attain Paramam Gati. So Yoga Mishra Bhaktas have been spoken. 14th verse speaks about Ananya Bhakta. Ananya Bhakta means there is no mishran, there is no mixture of anything. It is pure devotional service. So now today we'll be doing from 15th verse. What will be the destination of pure devotional service, a pure devotee? What is the destination of Karma Mishra or Yoga Mishra Bhaktas? They are also Bhaktas only, but Yoga Mishra Bhaktas. They can be Nishkama Yoga Mishra Bhaktas. But today I'm going to give you 3 technical terms which I had discussed also in the previous chapter. Sanishta, Parinishta, Ananya. Or you can say Nirapeksha. Ananya means Nirapeksha. 3 terms. As a Bhakti Shastri student, you should be aware of these 3 terms. Sanishta, Parinishta, and Nirapeksha or Ananya. Ananya means purest, pure devotional service. Nirapeksha, no attachment for anything, not obliged to do anything. Now let us see. Sanishta means he performs Yoga Mishra Bhakta he performs Yoga Mishra Bhakti. He has no desire for any fruits of action. That means he is Nishkama. Nishkama Yoga Mishra Bhakta. Sanishta comes in that category. And he has attachment for Varnashrama. That means he has attachment for the prescribed duties. He doesn't have attachment for the fruits of the duties, but he has attachment for the prescribed duties because he realizes the Atma, Paramatma through this path. That means performing the prescribed duties, he takes it as a means to understand or realize Atma and Paramatma. He doesn't give up his prescribed duties. He's attached to it. But he is not attached to the fruits. So Nishkama Yoga Mishra Bhakta. Now, Parinishta, he is not attached to the Varnashrama, but he performs the duties just to teach others, like Janak Maharaj. We saw in the previous chapters, in the first unit. Janak Maharaj just performed the prescribed duty to set an example. That is Parinishta. He is not attached. He is equivalent to Ananya Bhakta. They all both come in the category of Ananya Bhakta only. But a slight difference is there. Ananya Bhakta or Nirapeksha Bhakta, he does not perform even that also. That means he is not coming in the category of Grahastha. He does not perform any Varnashrama duty. But as a Grahastha, even if he has Ananya Bhakti towards Krishna, he just does it as a matter of duty to set an example. But Sanishta Bhaktas, they have attachment for the duty. Parinishta, no attachment. Nirapeksha, there is no question only. Anyhow, there is no attachment. That is why he is not doing it. He is not obliged to do. Even Parinishta is also not obliged to do. He just does it, just to teach an example. Now, what are the gatis of these people? Sanishta, Parinishta, Nirapeksha. What is the gati? It will be spoken from 15th words onwards to today will be taking up to 20th verse, 20th verse, 21th verse. Okay, 21st verse on 15th verse. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam shashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam shashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhi paramam gataha. Who will read? Krishna Priya, you read. Then Kanchan Mishra, then Sudha.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam asashvatam namnuvanti mahatmanaha prasiddhim paramam gataha.
Kanchan.
हरे कृष्णा माताजी दंडवत प्रणाम. मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुखालयम शाश्वतम नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः.
Gataha. Gataha. Okay. Sudha.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम. मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयं शाश्वतं नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः.
So, what is the result of a person who has achieved this stage? This stage, 14th verse. Ananyas chetaha satatam yomam smrati nityashaha tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yoginah. He is doing Ananya Bhakti, unalloyed devotion. No motives, no personal motives, no interruptions. Ananya Bhakta. So, what is the destination and what is the result? Krishna says, Mamu Petyaha. Mam, he achieves me. Punha Janma, because he does unalloyed devotion to me, he achieves me. He never has to take birth again. He doesn't have to return to this dukkha alayam. Krishna has certified this world. And sometimes we say, we are thinking that this is sukhalayam. Sometimes wrong advertisements are put, this is sukhalayam. We have made such a wonderful construction where you're going to experience sukha. The builders and all put this. This is sukhalayam. The designer of this world has certified that this is dukkhalayam, ashashvatam. This is temporary. So a person who is doing unalloyed devotion service will never return to this material world which is full of miseries. Why? Because he has attained perfection, samsiddhim, sampurna rupena siddhi. There are ashta siddhis which is attained by these yogis. But this samsiddhi is sampurna rupena siddhi. What can be the highest perfection? Achieving Krishna is the highest perfection. That is Krishna prema. That is why he is Mahatma, Mahanatma, Mahatma, Mahatmanaha, Atmanaha, Paramam Gatim. In this way, he achieves the highest perfection, the highest goal, that is Krishna prema. Okay. Vishwambar Prabhu, please read the purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Purpose. Since this temporary material world is full of the miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, naturally, he who achieves the highest perfection attains the supreme planet, Krishna Lok, Golok, Vrindavan, does not wish to return. The supreme planet is described in Vedic literature as Abhyakta and Akshara and Parama Gati. In other words, that planet is beyond our material vision and it is inexplicable, but it is the highest goal, the destination for the Mahatmas, great souls. The Mahatmas receive transcendental message from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They only want Krishna's association and nothing else. That is the highest perfection of life. The verse specifically mentions the perfect devotees of the Supreme Lord Krishna. These devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the Supreme Soul.
Okay, this is the gati for a devotee. But what about those who are not performing any devotional service, but they're interested in karma kand, pious activities? They're doing pious, they're very good people. There is something difference between good and divine. This person is very good, very wonderful, performing all pious activities. What will be their gati? What will be their destination? But he's not a devotee of Krishna. Brahma Bhuvanaloka Punaravartinorjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. So mute your phone and then Brahma Bhuvanaloka Punaravartinorjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. What is the difference? Who is not attached to the devotion, he has to again take birth. But Mamupetya tu Kaunteya. See that 15th verse started with Mamupetya. 16th verse, second line is Mamupetya. So Krishna is emphasizing Mamupetya. He achieves me. For that person, there is no Punarjanma. Again, Krishna is emphasizing on this topic. Mamupetya Punarjanma. Here also same thing is given. Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanma na Vidyate. It is sure A person who has taken up devotional service will never return again in this material world. Even if he has to come, he will be performing devotional service. Mama janmani janmani ishware bhavatat bhaktir ahaitu tvai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, a devotee is not afraid of coming. He is afraid of losing devotion. That is why Ishopanishad says, Vayuranilam amrutamathedam basmantam shariram. Om krutosmara kutam smara. Oh Krishna, please remember. Whatever I have done, please remember that. That means a devotee has that fear of losing devotion. Devotee only aspires to get devotees association. That is the highest. So what he will do in the devotees association? Again study Bhagavad Gita. Isn't it? Even if he has to come in the next lifetime, suppose he has finished Bhakti Vaibhav, or Bhakti Shastri, he will start with Bhakti Vaibhav, or maybe Bhakti Sarvabhauma. Again, this cycle will go on. Studies should never be stopped, because if we read more and more, if we are engrossed in the scriptures, we can relish the scriptures. It adds up to our devotion. It fixes up our faith in Krishna. The more we study, the more we can realize the scriptures. Scriptures are persons. So a devotee is not afraid to take birth. But the condition is bhavatat bhaktir ahaituki tvai. Give me ahaituki devotion. Unmotivated, undeviated devotion. But a person who is not interested in devotional service, but interested in pious activities, very good person, helps everybody, everything is so wonderful. What will happen? Brahma bhuvana loka. He can go even up to Brahma loka. But then, after finishing off with all his pious, you can say, awards or results, he has to again come back. Because you get the result. If this earthly planet is not enough to give you the result of whatever good deeds you have done, naturally you have to go to the upper planetary system. Sometimes Sanishta Bhaktas, see, Sanishta is also Bhaktas only. They are also offering their results to Krishna. But they have attachment to the prescribed duties. Sometimes, out of curiosity, they want to see all the planetary systems. They like to see also. Let me go to Maharloka, let me go to Tapaloka, Janaloka. In this way, Brahmaloka. They want to see. They can go beyond Swargaloka. They can go beyond. Swargaloka is for the pious people, till Swargaloka. But beyond Swargaloka, Maharloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Brahmaloka, Satyaloka, that is for very exalted devotees who are interested in seeing. Then what happens? They can go up to there, beyond Swarga. They will not come back. They will not come back. Who will come back? Till Swargaloka, whoever has gone. Who goes? Now, if you see in the third verse of this chapter, third verse, there are people who perform 5 kinds of sacrifice, which is known as Pancha Agni Vidya. Panchagni Vidya, 5 kinds of sacrifice. Chandaka Upanishad speaks about it. What are the 5 kinds of offerings? Faith is offered. And this faith covers the jiva. That is offered to the heavenly planets, because that faith in performing the yagyas, havan, very good person, pious person, because of that faith, that faith has covered his consciousness. That takes him to the heavenly planets. Now there, he is offered in the heavenly planets. Naturally, he gets a very wonderful heavenly body. He takes that rewards. He is rewarded with all wonderful things. He enjoys the heaven. After that, Shine Punya Martalokam Vishanti. After all your Punya karmas, everything is over, then you have to come back. Then what happens is he is offered to rain god. So then he comes in the form of rains. He is offered to the grains. That means is offered to Mother Earth. He takes the form of a grain. And the same jiva enters the semen of a man, who is again offered to a woman. So in this way, whoever does a pious activity, he goes up to Swarga, again comes back. This Pancha Agni Vidya is spoken in Chandogya Upanishad. Now somebody has done a very horrible act, then where he will go? Naturally to the lower planetary system. If the earthly planet is not enough to punish him, he will be punished in the lower planetary systems. But the higher planetary system till Swarga is got by a pious person, but he has to come back again. Those who are Sanishta Bhaktas, they go beyond Swarga. So they will be there, they will not come back, they will be there, situated there. When the whole annihilation happens, not just Brahma's annihilation, everything is annihilated at that time. Those jivas who are performing devotional service in Satyaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, they all will go back to Godhead. So that has been spoken. Okay. Who will read the words? Daya Sagar Prabhu, Hansrupi Prabhu, Anu Ashok Prabhu.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada.
No, you have to read the words, na? Verse. I think we have not read the words.
Translation.
No, verse.
Verse.
Brahma Bhuvana Loka.
Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punarvartino Arjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanma Navidyate.
Hansrupi Prabhu.
Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punavartino Arjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanma Vidyate.
Ashok Prabhu.
Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punravartino Arjuna Mamupete tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate.
Punaravartino Arjuna. You should not say no Arjuna. No Arjuna.
Punaravartino Arjuna.
No Arjuna nahi. No Arjuna.
Punavartino Arjuna. Punavartino Arjuna.
Vartinaha Arjunaha.
Punavartino Arjuna.
Narayana, read the purport. Translation purport.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, places of misery where repeated and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Purport. All kinds of yogis, karma, jnana, hatha, etc., eventually have to attain devotional perfection in bhakti yoga or Krishna consciousness before they can go to Krishna's transcendental abode and never return. Those who attain the highest material planets, the planets of demigods, are again subjected to repeated birth and death. As persons on earth are elevated to higher planets, people on higher planets such as Brahma Loka, Chandra Loka, and Indra Loka fall down to earth. The practice of sacrifice, called Panchagni Vidya, recommended in Chandogya Upanishad, enables one to achieve Brahma Loka, but if on Brahma Loka one does not cultivate Krishna consciousness, then he must return to earth. Those who progress in Krishna consciousness on the higher planets are gradually elevated to higher and higher planets, and at the same time of universal devastation,
At the time
of universal devastation, are transferred to the eternal spiritual kingdom. Baladev Vidyabhushan, in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, quotes this verse: Brahmana sahate sarve samprapte prati sanchare prati sanchare parasyante kritatmanah pravishanti param padam. Brahmana sahate sarve samprapte prati sanchare parasyante Pratatmanah
Manaha.
pravishanti param padam. When there is devastation of this material universe, Brahma and his devotees, who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness, are all transferred to the spiritual universe and to specific spiritual planets according to their desires.
So Yashla Prabhupada says that even if a person has done 5 types of sacrifice, he can even reach to Brahma Loka, but he's not interested in devotion. He has to come back. That's why Brahma Bhuvana Loka. He may achieve. Satyaloka also he may achieve. But Sanishta Bhaktas, surely they achieve beyond Swargaloka because they are Bhaktas. They are interested in seeing some planets. There's some curiosity, what is there. Parinishta Bhaktas sometimes are transferred. So Baldev Devabhushan writes about it. Sometimes they are also transferred. Sometimes they get even Swargaloka, Parinishta Bhaktas also. Just to test how much they are detached from all these things. Because the highest sense gratification is there in Swargaloka. And Maya gives a test. Let me see whether this type of allurement deviates this Parinishta Bhakta or not. So that also topic Baldev Vidyabhushan speaks about. Parinishta Bhaktas are never deviated. And sometimes they are transferred to Brahma Loka. But what they do there, they do devotional service. So they don't come back. They don't take birth. Only at the time of devastation, universal devastation, they are transferred to Goloka Dham. Now let us see. So according to human calculation, Brahma's day that has been spoken. Sahasra Yuga Pariyantam Aharyad Brahmano Viduhu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vido Janaham Sahasra Yuga Pariyantam Aharyad Brahmano Viduhu Ratri Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vido Janaha. Sahasra Yuga Pariyantam, that means 1000 millenniums. Pariyantam, 1000 millennium. Millennium means one cycle, kalpa. Kalpa is also known as millennium. A Sahasra Yuga million, that means 4 yugas make one kalpa. Like that, 1000 yugas, 1000 kalpas makes 1000 kalpa, makes one day of Brahma. Aha means day, that becomes one day. Ratri Yuga Sahasrantam, similar is the night of Brahma. Just see, one day of Brahma is 1000 cycles, millennium, 1000 kalpas. So what is one kalpa? 43,20,000 years. 4,20,000 is Kali Yuga. Double is Dwapar. Triple is Treta. 4 times is Satyuga. So 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, 10 into 4,32,000 years. That means technically it is 43,20,000 years multiplied by 1000 is 1000 years. This many years into 1000 is one day of Brahma. That much is similar is the night of Brahma. Like that, 365 multiplied by 365, 1 year of Brahma. Multiplied by 100, that is one lifetime of Brahma. That's if so big lifetime. When we see this, we are astonished. We say, oh, how much long lifetime he has. Whatever it may be, that end has to come. When that complete devastation happens, that end has to come. That means right from Brahma to a small insignificant ant, everybody has to give up this body. Because everyone is placed in this material world. And in this material world, there is no eternal life. That eternal life is only in the spiritual world. So here, the word Viduhu. Viduhu means the knower. One who knows this. He knows this. He knows the life cycle of Brahma. By knowing this, what happens? He understands that this material world is a Shashwatam Dukkhalaya. Why this verse is put, 17th verse is put? To emphasize on 15th verse. Even if a person understands that Brahma has such a big lifetime, but he understands that, he also understands Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. This material world is a temporary place and a place of misery also. It's a temporary place. Who will read? Vandana Mataji will read. Then Narayan will read. Gadi Prabhuji will read. And Krishna Dharma Prabhu will read. Okay, Vandana Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Sahasrayuga paryantam aharyado brahmano viduhu ratrim
Aharyad Brahmano Viduhu. Aharyad
brahmano viduhu aharyad brahmano viduhu
Why you say Brahmano? Brahmano
brahmano
Viduhu.
aharyad brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vido janaha.
Okay.
सहस्रयुगपर्यन्तम् अहर्यब्रह्मणो विदुः रात्रिं युगसहस्रान्तां देहोरात्रविदो जनाः.
Very good. Gadi Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण माताजी. सहस्रयुगपर्यन्तम् अहर्यत् ब्रह्मणो विदुः रात्रिं युगसहस्रान्तां देहोरात्रविदो जनः.
Very good.
सहस्रयुग पर्यंतम अहर्यत ब्राह्मणो विदु रात्रिम युग सहस्रांतम तेहो रात्र विदो जनः.
Sahasrantam. All
सहस्रांतम
Tehoratra Vido Janaha.
तेहोरात्र विदो जनः.
Janaha. Okay, read.
By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together from the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. The duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of kalpas. A kalpa is a day of Brahma, and one day of Brahma consists of 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas or ages: Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. The cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom, and religion, and there being practically no ignorance and vice. And the yuga lasts 17,28,000 years. In the Treta Yuga, vice is introduced, and this yuga lasts 12,96,000 years. In Dwapara Yuga, there is an even greater decline in virtue and religion. Vice increases. And this yuga lasts 8,64,000 years. And finally, in Kali Yuga, the yuga we have now been experiencing over the past 5,000 years, there is an abundance of strife, ignorance, religion, and vice. True virtue being practically non-existent. And this yuga lasts 4,32,000 years. In Kali Yuga, vice increases to such a point that at the termination of the yuga, the Supreme Lord himself appears as Kalki Avatara, vanquishes the demons, saves the devotees, and commences another Satya Yuga. Then the process is set rolling again. These 4 yugas, rotating 1,000 times, comprise one day of Brahma, and same number comprise one night. Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years by earth calculation total to 31 trillion and 40 billion earth years. By these calculations, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable. But from the viewpoint of eternity, it is as brief as a lightning flash. In the causal ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bubbles in the Atlantic. Brahma and his creation are all part of material universe, and therefore they are in constant flux. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease, and death. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord in the management of his universe, of this universe. Therefore, he at once attains liberation. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma's particular planet, Brahmaloka, which is the highest planet in the material universe and which survives all the heavenly planets in the upper
Strata.
strata.
Prabhupada's business like this, strata of the planetary system.
Of the planetary system. But in due course of Brahma, and all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subject to death according to the law of material nature.
So here this word viduhu is very important. Which type of viduhu? The viduhu means the knowers of the day and night of Brahma. It's not just knowing the day or night of a human. It is they knowing the day and night of Brahma. So such knowers, such knowledgeable people, such knowers are there right from Maharloka, which is above Swargaloka. They know the day of Brahma. And they know that how, even though Brahma has so much lifetime, but still there is a devastation. And then what is the gati of Brahma? He will attain the spiritual world. Why? Because he is absorbed in devotion. He will be liberated. Mukti hitva anyatha rupam surupena vyavastitihi jivera sarupaho Krishnera nityadas. So what is the meaning of mukti? Getting service of Krishna. Anyhow, he is a devotee. He performs devotional service. So in this way, such knowers, they are there from Maharloka. They know the day of Brahma. Avyaktadyaktaha sarva prabhavantyaharagame ratyagame praliyante tatraiva vyakta samyake. Avyaktadyaktayaha sarva prabhavantyaharagame ratyagame praliyante tatraiva vyakta samyake. Now there are people who manifest, then unmanifest. When the day of Brahma starts, they manifest. Then again when the night is there, they unmanifest. Who are these people then? These people are less advanced people. They can go only up to Swargaloka. They cannot go beyond. They are less advanced. They are more interested in this Panchavidha Yajna, pious activities. They are not having that knowledge of Brahma's day. So here, Baladev Vidyabhushan speaks about this. Who are those people who again come? One day of Brahma over, again there is, everything is unmanifested. Everything manifests when the Brahma's day starts. Nighttime, unmanifest. Daytime, manifest. Complete devastation, everybody enters the womb of Vishnu. That is complete devastation when it happens, in which they attain the spirit. Those who go back to their constitutional position, who need not have to come back again, then they enter the spiritual world. Those who have to again come back when there is again creation, annihilation. Now creation, when it happens, everything will again manifest. Brahma also will manifest. When annihilation happens, even Brahma is also annihilated. Now it depends now. If Brahma gets spiritual world, wonderful. Then he doesn't have to come back. There is a position always kept. Brahma is actually a position. Those who have performed Varnashrama very perfectly, they have performed the Varnashrama. The best of Brahmana, at least for 100 lifetimes, he gets the position of Brahma. So Brahma is a position, not just a person. Brahma is a position. So one who has occupied this position as a Brahma, if he is a pakka devotee, like he performs devotional service very nicely, goes back home, back to God. Any of Brahma gets this position, because even to get the position of Brahma, it's very difficult. Now let us see. But there are people who don't know about Brahma's day and night. They're not much knowledgeable. So what happens? They are not much knowledgeable. They are interested in sense enjoyment. They've done pious activities. They get the highest sense enjoyment in Swargaloka. Then Avyakta Vyaktaiha Sarva Prabhavantyah Ragame Ratriagame Praliyante Tatraiva Vyakta Samyake. Avyaktat means from the unmanifest. Vyaktaha, living entities. Sarva, all. Prabhavanti, become manifest. So all the living beings become manifest from unmanifested stage in the beginning of Brahma's day. Aha agame. Aha means day. Agame means beginning. Agam, beginning of the day. Ratri agame. Now night is there. Now it has started at the fall of night. Praliyante. Everything again is annihilated. Tatra eva avyaktaha samyake. Now when the night falls, they are merged into unmanifest again. That means they take again this, they become unmanifest. So in this way, here Srila Prabhupada has not given any purport. Baldev Vidyabhushan writes the purport about it. Baldev Vidyabhushan says, those who are less advanced than the above mentioned persons, knowers of the day and night, the inhabitants of Swarga, earth and the lower planets, will meet destruction in each day of Brahma. So at the beginning of Brahma's day, what happens? When Brahma awakens from his sleeping stage, all bodies, senses, objects of enjoyment, places of enjoyment, everything becomes manifest. Then when the night starts, when it is time to sleep, everything disappears. Where? Within Brahma. You will say, where they go? Within Brahma. Caused by his sleep. Avyaktaha samyake. The word avyaktaha does not refer to pradhana. It is not that they enter pradhana. They enter the Brahma. They enter Brahma. Now Brahma is sleeping. Brahma takes everything, annihilates. Brahma awakens, again gives. Again the creation happens. This is secondary creation. Okay, Aneja Prabhu has some doubt. Can we take it later? Aneja Prabhu?
Yes, Mother, we can take it.
Okay. भूतग्रामः स एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्याह रागमे भूतग्रामः स एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्याह रागमे. Previous words we have not read. Okay. Now, Krishnadam Prabhu, Maya Mataji, Jumur. Both the verses you have to read. I'll explain this and then both the verses you have to read. Bhutagrama sa evayam. Bhutagrama. Bhutagrama means the aggregate of living entities. Bhutagrama. All the living entities. Saha. Saha eva ayam. Bhutva bhutva. So again and again, bhutva bhutva, there is a repeated birth. When Brahma's day arrives, all the living entities come into being. Ratrya game vashapat. When the night starts, they are helplessly annihilated. Like father tells the child, "Bas ho gaya, abhi natkat nahi, chalo so jao." Then the father makes the child sleep, even though the child doesn't want to sleep. But still, forcibly, the child has to sleep. In the same way, Brahma is our supreme father, at least in this material world. Supreme to that also is Krishna only. But father is Brahma, isn't it? And father tells children, now sleep now. That is unmanifest stage. Now it's morning time, get up. Now I have to get up and go back to their activities. It's not very difficult. These things are very interesting, and we can relate it also. Like when we sleep, we make our children also sleep. When we wake up, we want our children also to get up. So we are all children of Brahma, secondary creation. Anyhow, Krishna is Parampita even for Brahma also. Okay, read the verse. Krishnadam Prabhu, Jumur, and whom I told. Okay, read.
Avyaktad vyakta sarva prabhavanti ahar agame.
Wait. Avyaktad vyaktayah sarva.
Avyaktad vyaktayah sarva.
Vyaktayah sarva. Prabhavantya haragame.
Prabhavantya ahar agame. Ratriagame pralayante tatraiva avyakta samyake.
Tatraiva vyakta samyake.
Tatraiva avyakta samyake.
Don't say va, you have told there va and a has come. So va is one word only. Tatraiva vyakta samyake.
Tatraiva avyakta samyake.
Sandhi vigraha, and when you join it, then you do vigraha. When you break it, it is tatra eva avyaktaha. But when you have to say, I will take tatra eva avyakta samyake, that time don't break. Already you have pronounced it there. Okay. Next, who is going to chant? Jumar. Okay, you read. One minute. Read this verse also. Krishna Dharma Prabhu. Bhutagrama.
Bhutagrama sa evayam bhutava praliyate. Ratri agame avasa partha prabhavati ahar agame.
Ratriagame vasha partha. Ratrya. See, when you're reading English now, what happens? You say Ratri agame. Ratriagame. Ya. Y is not E. Ya. A has come. Ratriagame.
Okay. Ratriagame avasah partha.
Avashah is not there. Vashaha only. Because game you told. Game. That may has a also.
Okay.
Ratriagame vasha partha.
Ratriagame vasah partha prabhavati ahar agame.
Prabhavatya. Whenever that Y comes, don't say E. Join it with the next line. Prabhavatya haragame. Next word.
Prabhavatya har agame.
Jumur.
Avyakta vyaktaya sarva prabhavantya haragame ratyagame praliyante tatreva vyakta samyake bhutagramah sa evayam bhutva praliyate ratyagame vasha partha prabhavatya haragame.
Wonderful. Next who?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
अव्यक्ताद्व्यक्तयः सर्वा प्रभवन्त्यहरागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्तसंज्ञके भूतग्रामः स एवायं भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्यहरागमे.
Very good. Who is going to read? Janardhan Prabhu, you read.
Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. purport. The less intelligent who try to remain within this material world may be elevated to the higher planets, and then again must come down to this planet Earth. During the daytime of Brahma, they can exhibit their activities on higher and lower planets within this material world. But at the coming of Brahma's night, they are all annihilated. In the day, they receive various bodies for material activities, and at night, they no longer have bodies but remain compact, the body of Vishnu. Then again, they are manifest the arrival of Brahma's day. Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate. During the day, they become manifest, and at the night, they are annihilated again. Ultimately, when Brahma's life is finished, they are all annihilated and remain unmanifest for millions and millions of years. And when Brahma is born again in another millennium, they are again manifest. This way, they are captivated by the spell of material world. But those intelligent persons who take to Krishna consciousness use the human life fully in the devotional service of the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thus, they transfer themselves, even in this life, the spiritual planet of Krishna and become eternally blissful there, not being subject to such rebirths. Hare Krishna.
Who is Brahma? Is Gunavatara of Krishna, isn't it? That is why Vishnu has been here. Vishati iti sarvatra Vishnu. Don't be confused. Brahma here, they enter in Brahma, they enter in Vishnu. Guna Avatara only. So technically, who is Brahma? Brahma is Gunavatara and Gunavatara of Krishna himself, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. He is responsible for the creation. And also, when annihilation happens at his level, when he goes to sleep, at that time everyone enters in his body. Again, there is creation when he wakes up. Okay. Now 20th verse. Paratasmat tu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yaha sa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati.
Parastasmatu.
Wait. Mute your phones. Parastasmat tu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yaha sa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. I'll read again. See every word. Parastasmatu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yaha sa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. Okay. Kamakshi Mataji, Gadadhar Prabhu, and Vaishnav Gaur Prabhu will read the verse.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Parastasmastu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu na avinashyati.
Nashyatsu na vinashyati.
Nashyastu na vinashyati. Oh, one more time, Mataji. Parastasmatu bhavanyo vyakta vyakta sanatanaha yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati.
Hare Krishna Dandatnam. Parastasmatu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatana veshu bhuteshu nasyastu na vinasyate.
Parastamatu bhavanyo avyakto vyakta sanatanaha yaha sa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati.
Very good. Beyond this, paraha means transcendental. Para tasmad tu bhavonyo. Anyhow, this is beyond this unmanifested nature. There is one another unmanifested nature. When you say unmanifested, means very subtle nature. There is another unmanifest nature which we cannot see with our gross eyes. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. Very difficult to see. Only Premanjana is there. Then we can see this unmanifested nature. Which unmanifested nature? Which is Sanatanaha, which is eternal. Which is eternal. And which is supreme. Which is eternal, which is supreme. Supreme, that is transcendental. Paraha tasmat tu bhavonyaha avyaktat avyaktat, 2 times avyaktaha, avyaktat is given. Beyond this unmanifested nature, material nature, there is another unmanifested eternal nature, which is supreme. Yaha saha sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. And that nature, that supreme nature, is never annihilated. Nashyatsu. Never, it's never annihilated. That is never destroyed. Even when there is a big devastation or ultimate devastation happens, this eternal world or spiritual world is never destroyed, never annihilated. Nashyatsu. Na vinashyati. When all in this world is annihilated, that part always remains. That part is never annihilated. So beyond the material sky, there is a spiritual sky, which is eternal, which is supreme, which is never destroyed. That has been given. Okay. Vandana Mataji, read. Read the translation and then the purport.
Yet there is another unmanifest nature, which is eternal, and it is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Purport. Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental and eternal. It is beyond all changes of material nature, which is manifest and annihilated during the days and nights of Brahma. Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite in quality to material nature. Superior and inferior nature are explained in the 7th chapter. Hare Krishna.
We read Bhumira Ponalo Vayu Kammano Buddhire Vaja. Superior nature, inferior nature, superior nature. Beyond this, Eyedam Jadharite Jagat, that also we will be studying the 7th chapter. Jivas are superior. And beyond that is Krishna, who is the controller of this matter and Jiva. Okay. 21st verse. Avyakto Kshara tamahu paramam gatim yam prapyana nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Avyakto kshara ityuktas tamaho paramam gatim yam prapyana nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Avyakto kshara ityuktas iti uktah uktas. So ityuktas, you should say ityuktas tamahu paramam gatim yam prapyana nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Hansrupi Prabhu, Vishwambhar Prabhu, Parthabandhu Prabhu. Read.
Avyaktoksharam ityukta samahu paramagatim yam prapyana nirvante taddham paramam mama.
Tadhama paramam mama.
Tadhama paramam mama.
Vishwambhar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Avyaktakshara ityuktasmahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadham paramam mam.
Okay, Parthabandhu Prabhu.
Avyaktoksara अव्यक्तोऽक्षर इत्युक्तस्तमाहो परमां गतिं यं प्राप्य न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम.
So now, how this spiritual world is described by the Vedantis. They say Vedantis means learner of the Vedas. They say this is unmanifested, this is avyaktaha. And how it is? Aksharaha, aksharaha, kshara, akshara. Akshara means infallible. This is never destroyed. Aksharaha, avyaktaha. And it is paramam gatim. It is the highest destination. Who is describing all this? Those who are knower of the Vedas. What is the meaning of knower of the Vedas? Vedeshcha sarver ahame vevedyo vedanta krut ved videva chaham. To know that Krishna is the compiler of the Vedas and Krishna has to be known by the Vedas. By studying Vedas, who is to be known? Krishna is to be known. That is why Veda Antaha. Vedantis means Veda Antaha. Where logics end, bhakti begins. You cannot just have a logical arguments. No, where logics end, bhakti begins. Wherever tarka, vitarka, everything ends, you cannot even understand how this happens. Like we had gone to Barsana, and there is a place where Andha Baba ka ashram, but you should not tell that. If you tell that, they will scold you. So we had warned our devotees, वहाँ जाके अंधा बाबा मत बोलो, कुछ नहीं बोलना, चुपचाप रहना. And he has made such a beautiful painting of Lord. They worship that deity. The paintings. So our devotees, we reached there and all those things, nice kirtan was going on. But again, that curiosity is there. And they ask, oh, Andha Baba ka painting batao na. We want them. Don't talk like this. Any of you will go and take darshan. But out of curiosity, this person asked, was so angry. He said, Andha tera pap, Andha tera. I went on, Andha tera iskon. I said, you should not ask, because it is there. When we went there, we were surprised to see the small intricate drawings. How a person without the eyes can draw. That is how, where logics end, we cannot even apply our thought process. Where logic ends, bhakti begins. We have Surdas. He is also blind. But he is to describe the beauty of Krishna, especially in the Darshanarti. In the Darshanarti, when Lord is dressed, the altar opens, and Surdas used to sing beautiful bhajans. This Pandit, he was thinking, is he acting to be blind? Let me test. So that day they did not dress Lord. And they opened the altar. And here Surdas started singing. And in one place he says, Nagna mein magna Nanda Kishore. So how this all happens? How a person without any gross eyes can see Krishna? That is why it is Vedanta. Vedanta means where Vedas end. There are so many logical arguments, that and this, so much of application of a speculative knowledge. Where all these things end, bhakti begins. There's a nice story. Narada, Krishna tells to Narada, you go and test two people. One is a cobbler and one is a Brahmana. Go and test them. He said, what should I ask them? He says, they will ask you, if they ask you what Krishna is doing in the spiritual world, you tell he is removing an elephant from the eye of the needle. Then this person went to Brahmana. Hey, Brahmana told, oh, Narada, please come. What Lord is doing in the spiritual world? Oh, he is removing the elephant from the needle's eye. Don't fool me. Tell truth, what is he doing? Yeah, he said, see, this is what he's doing. Went to cobbler. He asked the same question and the same answer was given. The cobbler said, yes, Krishna could do anything and everything. Then Narada comes back to Vaikuntha. Lord says, bring that cobbler. He is fit to come here. Because he did not apply his thought processes. Where our thought process, material thought process ends, there bhakti begins. Krishna can do anything and everything. So this Vedantis, how they describe this spiritual world, oh, it is unmanifest. That doesn't mean that it is not there. It is real. It is unmanifest. And it is akshara. It is infallible. And it is paramam gatim. It is the highest destination. And yam prapya nanivartante. Whoever gets that, tad dhama paramam mama nivartante means he will not come back here. Because he has got my abode. Then you say, at what point of time we were pushed here? Or why is it that the acharyas again come? They come on the instruction of Krishna. Why we are pushed? Because we also became a competitor with Krishna. Why should you be enjoyer? Why not I? Why should you be the controller? I also want to be the controller. So in this way, that made us come back here. Okay. Then some men say, what is a guarantee? Again, we'll be staying there only. Even if we are not a competitor, what will happen? Yes, we'll be staying. If we are not a competitor, if we attain pure devotional service, we'll get that abode. Na nivartante. We don't have to come back. But if Krishna's desire is there, then he can bring a devotee again to any loka, wherever he desires. Okay. Who will read? Gadi Prabhu will read.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Manojha Prabhu will read. And Parthabandhu Prabhu will read.
Avyaktokshara ityuk. This one only, no, Mataji?
Yes.
Avyaktokshara ityuktas tamahu paramam gati. 1 minute.
Avyaktokshara ityuktas tamahu paramam gatim.
Avyaktokshara ityuktas tamahu paramam gati.
Why you are adding that? Ityuktas. Stop it. Next. Tamahu paramam gatim.
Ityuktas tamahu paramam gatim. Yam
prapya
nivartante tadham paramam mama.
Tadhama paramam mama.
Tadhama paramam mama.
Manojha Prabhu.
Avyaktokshara iti yuktas tamahu paramam gatim. Yam ityuktas
tamahu.
Avyaktokshara ityuktas tamahu paramam gatim. Yam prapya nivartante tadhama paramam mama.
Very good. Parthabandhu.
Avyaktokshara paramam yam prapya nivartante tadhama paramam mama.
Okay, Narayana will read.
Avyaktokshara ityuktas tamahu paramam gatim. Ya prapya navnivartante tadhama paramam mama.
You read the translation and purport.
That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns, that is my supreme abode. The supreme abode of the personality of Godhead Krishna is described in the Brahma Samhita as Chintamani Dhama, a place where all desires are fulfilled. The supreme abode of Lord Krishna, known as Golok Vrindavan, is full of palaces made of touchstone. There are also trees called desire trees that supply any type of eatable upon demand, and there are cows known as Surabhi cows, which supply a limitless supply of milk. In this abode, the Lord is served by hundreds of thousands of goddesses of fortune, Lakshmi, and he is called Govinda, the primal Lord and the cause of all causes. The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute, Venum Kwarantam. His transcendental form is the most attractive in all the worlds. His eyes are like lotus petals. The color of his body is like the color of the clouds. He is so attractive that his beauty excels that of thousands of cupids. He wears saffron cloth, a garland around his neck, and a peacock feather in his hair. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint of his personal abode, Golok Vrindavan, which is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. A vivid description is given in Dhamma Samhita. Vedic literature, Katha Upanishad 1.3.11, states that there is nothing superior to the abode of Supreme Godhead, and that abode is the ultimate destination. Purushan na param kinchit sa kashtha paramagati. When one attains to it, he never returns to the material world. Krishna's supreme abode and Krishna himself are non different, being of the same quality. On this earth, Vrindavan, 90 miles southeast of Delhi, is a replica of that supreme Golok Vrindavan located in the spiritual sky. When Krishna descended on this earth, he sported on that particular tract of land known as Vrindavan, comprising about 84 square miles in the district of Mathura, India.
Mm. So now here we'll stop. Any doubts you can ask. Aneja Prabhu, you had doubt.
Yes, Mataji. I have 2 or 3, one by one.
Okay.
This says 8.18 shloka. It says, and thereafter, when the night falls, Brahma's night, then everything merges into unmanifested again. My question is, during daytime, material manifestation is in manifested stage. At the start of the night, it gets unmanifested. It means during the night of Brahma, there is no material activity. Everything is unmanifested. Nothing material happens when Brahma sleeps.
Nothing activity, no activity happens. Even while sleeping, also activity is there. While you are sleeping, are you not performing an activity?
No, subconscious mind, it happens. We are not awake, but activities in the mind.
Dream and all is there, no? Dreaming is there, no?
It means this material manifestation, which is during the daytime, during night time, no material manifestation is there. All
no
are
material
sleeping.
activity is there, but it is how again in unmanifest form only. Dreaming is also an activity.
But it is not. But it is not a conscious activity, no.
It's subconscious activity. Yes. Desires are there. Understand? Desires are there. Yes. Breathing goes on. Desires are there. Now that material desires are not yet, like you are not put it in action. Desire is that I want to eat laddu. Now Brahma told to sleep, better. Not now. Morning you should eat laddus. Then what will you do? You tell your children. No?
Okay.
Same thing. But then that the child dreams of laddu and sleeps. Oh, morning I'll get up and I'll get laddus. A simple way to understand. Because you cannot complicate so much what is happening. Same thing. If your child is asking something, what you tell, now sleep. But the child has not forgotten it.
Okay.
So our impressions are there with us. And that impressions go on in our sushupta stage. That means we are sleeping. But that dreaming stage is there. When am I going to get this? When am I going to fulfill my desires? That is also action. Yes.
Yes.
Second question.
Second question, text number 19. When this says, when entire Brahma's 1 year is over, that is when entire material annihilation is there, everything goes into the valley of Vishnu. Then it says,
not just
when they are annihilated and remain unmanifest for millions and millions of years. So my question is, in 4 yugas, that is Satya Yuga ends, then we are unmanifest millions and millions of years. It means there is a time gap between the 4 yugas. Satya to Treta, Treta to Dwapar, and Dwapar to Kali Yuga. When
There
the
is
word
a
is used,
time.
it remain unmanifest millions and millions of years.
Yes. One see, when there is one day, all 4 yugas are there 1,000 times. 1,000 times.
Okay.
After that, one night, again 1,000. Again one day, again 1,000. There's no gap. Immediately it starts. There'll be a small gap, a yugantara, a small gap, but not a very big gap of annihilation. Like now, what is going on? From Dwapar, we have entered to Kali Yuga. It is yet not, Kali Yuga is not yet not started. It's just yugantara. It is a transmission period from this period to that period. But that is not total devastation.
Okay. One more. Sloka number 17. Purport last lines. It says Brahmaloka, which is the highest planet in the material universe and which survives all the heavenly planets in the upper strata of planetary system. What does this mean exactly? It survives all the heavenly planets in the upper strata.
Yeah, Brahma is a guiding force, na?
Correct.
So that is how he survives. Survives means all the heavenly planets in upper strata. That is, all the upper planetary system are nourished by Satyaloka. In fact, all the lokas.
But Brahma is in Brahmaloka, which is Brahma is in Brahmaloka, which is considered to be material.
But it's the highest planet, no? In the material universe.
Okay.
Highest planet. Prabhupada speaks very clearly. Highest planet, which survives all the heavenly planets in the upper strata of the planetary systems.
And the last line is, in due course, Brahma and all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subject to death.
Yes, everybody has to die,
whether
na?
Brahmaloka remains, Brahma remains in Brahmaloka all the times, or Brahma also at one point of time gets elevated to the Goloka Vrindavan, or Brahma always remains in the Brahmaloka, which is material.
Well, now, which purport you are reading? Your purport.
Last 2 lines of purport 17.
The last 2 lines. Yeah, what is told? But in due course, Brahma and all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subject to death. Everybody has to die, na? According to the law of material nature. What is the destination? What is the destination? Destination is the supreme world, superior or the spiritual world. But everybody has to die first.
Okay.
Then attain.
My question was, Brahma always remains in Brahmaloka, or at one point of time he also gets elevated to Goloka also?
Brahma is a position. First understand. The one who is occupying this position,
okay,
understood. We say Brahma. If he is nicely doing, performing devotional service, will go. Okay.
Understood.
Next, over your questions or any other
Brahma
questions?
is not the same person. It is a position, so many people come as Brahma. Fine.
Not
Thank you. Thank you. I understood.
Very few people come. Not very. It is not so easy to become Brahma. And again, in the position of Brahma to perform devotional service, again, it's not so easy.
Fine. Thank you.
Brahma is also known as Swayambhu. He is born from the navel of Lord. So see, just imagine. He is Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu. Swayambhu, one of the Mahajanas, who is born from the navel. To get that position, what wonderful activity a person would have done. He is a devotee, pure devotee. He is the one who is administrator. He is the topmost of all the Brahmanas. And he is our Acharya. We are Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So Acharya. Okay.
Understood. Thank you.
Partha Bandhu Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. My question is that in currently you told that Brahma is like Acharya. Secondly, he is the like one of the Mahajana.
This Brahma.
This Brahma. And in 17th shloka also, here it is written that Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of Supreme Lord, in the management, so he attains liberation. So Mataji, in one of the Vaishnava song, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Manasa Deha Geho, that Bahirmukha Brahma Janmenai. So what does he want to tell there? Like, how is the connection with
What he tells? Translate and tell. You told, but others also should understand, na?
Mataji, now I don't have that book.
Then how you tell without knowing?
No, I read it because.
Okay, tell the meaning at least. What did you say now?
Mataji, can I get that Vaishnava song? Just 1 minute.
At least you should know the meaning, now. What did you ask?
Mataji, I read, but I don't exactly remember.
So come back to me on Friday with a proper, yeah. Okay, next Janardhan Prabhu.
Krishna Mataji, wishing you on behalf of me, all students in this Bhakti Shastri course, happy Guru Purnima, and accept our obeisances, and thank you. I express my gratitude for all your guidance, teachings, and because of you, I joined the Bhakti Shastri and progressing. And Sanskrit class is also going very nice, Mataji, and really it is very the Guruji is very enthusiastic and very we are enjoying Sanskrit class also. Thank you very much. Keep us blessing. Your blessings.
I thought you had some question.
No question.
Daya Sagar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I have a question regarding two verses which speak about similar point. It is 8:15, 8.21. That after somebody goes to spiritual world, it will not come again. So we know example of Narada Muni. Actually,
how is it that he's traveling in this material world? Is it that he is the eternal spaceman. He can go anywhere. How then a person can be uplifted? They are all Mahajanas. That is why I told, when Acharyas are sent, Mahajanas are sent, they are to uplift the conditioned souls. Krishna wants everyone to come back to his home. Then he has to send his representative. So Guru is a representative of Krishna. Today Vyasadev's appearance. Who is Vyasa? Incarnation of Krishna. And Guru Tattva comes as a representative of Krishna. So it is Krishna's will to send the Mahajanas. It's not that because they are roaming in this material world, they are bound with the laws of this material nature. Like the governor goes to the prison. Now all the prisoners cannot jump up and down, see he has become one of us. No, he's like us. They cannot say governor has come to reclaim those prisoners. He is not in the clutches. For him, the doors of the prison are open. He can go inside and outside. But for a prisoner, the doors are closed. For coming out of that prison, he has to get that qualification. So this material world is Durga. And Durga is the superintendent of this material prison. She has the three danda to give punishment. Adhyatmik tapa, adidevik tapa, and adibhautik tapa. So that this punishment will reclaim the conditioned souls. And then he will realize, oh, ashashvatam dukkhalayam. How should I come out of it? Then he takes shelter of a pure devotee. And that is how he can come out. Okay? Any other doubt? Is okay? Anupama has any doubt? No doubt.
No, Mataji, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I had one question, but I asked Daya Sagra, so he revealed. Thank you.
Krishna Dharma Prabhu, you have a doubt.
Yes, Mataji. So, Mataji, what is the destination of those who are not performing any devotional service, right? They are not at all interested, and generally they are performing all bad things like.
Bad means they have to go down. Hell and all those things they have to. experience. We have spoken about people interested in pious activities, performing Panchagya Sankar, Pancha Agni Sanskaras. That has been spoken. Those who are horrible has not been spoken. Anyway, it will be coming.
And this hell is a real Mataji, or it is virtual kind of?
Fifth canto, Vyasa writes. He will not write something which is illusional. He says there is a boiling oil, they're deep fried. All these things are there. That means hell is also there. No?
Experiencing hell in this earth also, right? Like when
that is to understand how can be that hell. To understand a horrible hell, first you experience this hell also. Like going in going in a local train, there is also hellish experience only. Hanging outside the train and going, it's a hellish experience. Just see rainy seasons, people don't have house to stay. Water is entered in their house. Hellish experience. These all are hellish experiences. So that is not categorizing this place as a hell, but they are all experiences. To understand what can be then the hell, that is why Lord says, better improve yourself. Small slap is not enough. Then go to the big slap. Simple. Like a child is drinking cigarette. Then the mother will slap one time, not listening. Then admits himself to cancer hospitals and dies. So that is also a hellish experience. Okay.
Once he went through that hellish experience in hospital, right? Again, he has to go through hell.
Again, if he is, in spite of having such experiences, not taking shelter of Krishna, having more of material desires, then where will he go? Hell only. No? And it depends how much bad activity he has done. If this punishment is enough, he need not have to go. Because at the same time, he must have done some pious activity also. Some good activity. We don't know. So maybe he need not have to go. If this earthly planet is not enough to give punishment, then he has to go. It's not necessary that he has to go. Sometimes such a child talks lies. And it's not that every liar has to go to hell. Here itself he has got punishment. That is why in Manu Samhita, there is a nice story. Where the king is ruling very nicely, this Manu Niti Chola kingdom. He rules very nicely. He keeps a bed, but nobody comes and gives any suggestions, no complaints, nothing. But he was eager. Somebody should give some suggestion at least. Because to err is human, everybody does some mistake. It is not that I am not doing any mistake, but nobody dares to come. So then he hangs a bell. If at all there is any problem, if they don't have that strength or that courage to come before me, at least they can ring the bell. So again, 1 month went, no ringing of the bell, nothing. He was also surprised. How is it that all are so happy? One day, the bell started ringing so loudly. He went and saw a cow was ringing the bell. Then the cow was crying. This Manuniti Chola went behind the cow. And then the cow went and stood in a place where the calf was dead. He could understand, yes, the calf has been killed. He asked the people who were standing around. Nobody answered anything. Then he asked the cow itself, who killed this calf? Then that cow went to the prince. Now, his son has killed the calf. So naturally, that's because, again, Go Hatya. One who does Go Hatya has to go to hell. So the king thought, why make him suffer in the hell? Let me give the punishment here and there. There and then. He made the son lie on the street. He took his chariot and moved the chariot over the body of his son. And thus he gave punishment to the son. So if the punishment is done and that is enough, then he need not have to go to hell. That is why it is said, I still remember my father, he always prays, oh Lord, give me punishment here itself. Don't accumulate my punishment and give me some punishment in a horrible hell. So if whatever mistake, knowingly, unknowingly, I have done it, oh Lord, give me punishment here itself. From my childhood, I always used to see my father praying this. I don't know how many of us really pray this. It's a nice prayer. That whatever punishment I have done, whatever mistake I have done, oh Krishna, give punishment here only. Let me suffer here itself. Because we don't know what is going to happen in the hell. How horrible yatana sharira, how horrible punishments we are going to experience. So that is what is Vedic culture. Okay. Any other doubt? No doubt. So Hare Krishna. So we'll meet on Friday. So till that time, some small homework. Write a summary of what you are studying. Write a summary of 8th chapter. Write summary of 7th chapter and important verses of 7th chapter. Try to memorize. Hare Krishna.
Lambadaram Vishnu Sasivardam Chaturbhujam Krishna Sarva Vidhu Prasantaye.
Tell, chant again.
Vyasam Vishistanaptaram
Shaktaiva.
Pautaman Karmasam Paratara Macham Vande
Shukatatam taponidhim.
Tapunidhim.
Very good, wonderful. I always forget. Nayana Manjari is going to chant the verse. Thank you. Hari Bol.
Vasa.
You want to chant more?
Kripa Sindhu Bhivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you.
Happy Guru Purnima.
Happy Guru Purnima.
Call Karogi.
I'll call you. Thank you.